Nobel Peace Prize winning journalist Maria Ressa on how to stand up to a dictator. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. Welcome to a brand new segment entitled Real Heroes. And this is where I will be profiling and talking about real heroes in our society from all walks of life, faith, creeds, nationalities every week. According to a News in Conversation interview conducted by, let me get the interviewer's name right. The name will come up somewhere in this interview. So let's begin the conversation. Nobel Peace Prize winning journalist Maria Ressa has a warning for the world in her new book, How to Stand Up to a Dictator. Ressa lays out how social media has been weaponized to support the rise of authoritarianism in the Philippines and why the rest of the world needs to pay attention. She spoke with Apple News Conversation host Shumita Basu about the urgent actions needed to safeguard democracy today. Below, I'm going to be reading some excerpts. Quote, Maria Ressa, like many other critics, says that Facebook's algorithms prioritize content that keeps you scrolling, even if the content is unverified, untrue, harmful, or maybe even propaganda by foreign or domestic agents. Facebook denies any wrongdoing. Maria's answer is, facts don't spread as fast and as far as lies. A 2018 MIT study showed that lies spread at least 6 times faster than those really boring facts. So why do they spread? Because it became a behavior modification system. Because the end goal is to keep you on the platform. It's an attention economy. You scroll. Why? Because it's a lie. That's incendiary. You're afraid. So fear, anger, hate us against them. Question. Emotions, strong emotions. You're saying content moderation is the wrong way of thinking about the problem? Answer. It's like your crazy neighbor who tells you about a conspiracy theory. He can keep saying that. You just don't make it the front page headline in your community newspaper. But the way the social media platforms are built or designed is that a crazy conspiracy theory will take over and go viral. And those facts that debunk it, they never spread. That's the fundamental flaw. Many social media companies profit by learning your lies and dislikes, then selling your consumer profile to companies that can then target you for ads. It's one thing for that data to be sold to a company that's trying to sell you a product. It's much more problematic when that information is used by political players who want to manipulate facts for their own gain. Answer. If you don't have privacy, you cannot have democracy. If you have been turned into a code, if your private thoughts are wide open and you are being insidiously manipulated, if you're a Pavlov's dogs, how the heck can we have democracy? How do we choose our leaders? We don't control that. And if you don't have integrity or facts, you can't have integrity of elections. And what we have seen is that 60% of the world today lives under autocracies, and we're rolling back the number of democracies to 1989 levels. We are electing liberal leaders democratically because they get the wildest spreads. Questions. Around the time that Regenero Duterte became president of the Philippines in 2016, Ressa and her team started seeing a huge amount of false information spreading online. They decided to investigate to try to understand where it was coming from. That year, Rappler, the Philippine News, co-founded by Ressa, ended up publishing a 3-part investigative series bringing to light how Duterte's camp and pro-Duterte groups were weaponizing social media. As part of it, the team looked at 26 suspicious, seemingly Facebook accounts that followed each other. Answer. They were fake. Where they lived, where they worked, where they went to school, everything was a lie. Their behavior was strange because they belonged to more groups than they had friends. Their friends were only the 26 of them. And then we did the other thing of counting. How many people could these 26 fake accounts touch? and it took us 3 months to manually count them. But it went to this socket puppet network of 26 fake accounts, could have influenced up to 3 to 4 million others. 3 to 4 million? That was when we began to find ways to pull down the data, because it is about the data and it is about the impact of exponential lies. Question: were they real people? Were they boots? Do you have a sense? Or were they bots? Do you have a sense? Answer: what we saw was they use automation as an alert. So if Duterte's name was mentioned, you would within seconds get an automated response. But in general, they were real people who had been are either paid, co-opted, or convinced to the policy as being called brigading. When they come and attack you because they want to silence you. Question: you brought these findings to Facebook. How did they respond at the time? Answer: I think they listened. I talked to 3 people. I have no doubt they ran it up the flagpole. But it was so new, you had to have seen or been on the front lines to experience it. And I think they downplayed it because their profit motive overshadowed everything. Question: Facebook has denied prioritizing profit over people's safety. The company says it has investigated heavily in keeping people safe online, but Rissa's personal experience will suggest otherwise. It didn't take long after Rappler published its investigative series for hateful messengers to pour in online. And in 2017, Duterte called out Rappler by name in his State of the Nation address, falsely accusing the company of being foreign-owned. Answer: a week later, we got our first subpoena, and then after that, 14 investigations by 2018. There was a shutdown order that we challenged head on. We got the shutdown order, and I was so incensed because I have been a news head for a long time, and I knew it was wrong. And so we just called a press conference. Question: what were you being charged with? Answer: so many tax evasion, like 6 months after the government gave us a top corporate tax payer award. This is devoid of anything, devoid of content, devoid of time and place. So there are 3 buckets: tax evasion, and then the second bucket is cyber libel. The third bucket is securities fraud, which connected to foreign ownership. That's a familiar one that's used against journalists all around the world. In less than 2 years, the Philippines government issued 10 arrest warrants against me. It got to a point where within a 6-week period, I was arrested twice. So this is why I focus on the macro, because in the end, this is not in my control. This is a tactic of intimidation, and I'm going to keep doing my job. Question: and how? And I know that wherever you go, this question follows you. Why are you going back to the Philippines? Answer: why do I keep going back? Because if I didn't, I'd be a criminal. I'd be a criminal, number one. Number two, I'm not going to be a monster to fight a monster. I believe in certain values, and I'm holding those values. And the third part is that if I were to be convicted in jail for being a journalist, that would fundamentally change the Philippines. It is not just about me. And the hard part is, I was handed the baton. I became a news head at a very strange moment in time. I'm not going to drop it. I'm going to hand it to the next generation, because news, journalism, the mission of journalism has never been as important as it is today. I'm lucky. Journalists around the world are getting jailed or getting killed. I'm still here, and I want to be a part of the solution. Wherever I go to jail will depend on what I do. Real heroes. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender. Never quit.